There are moments in life when a certain person keeps crossing your mind, even though there's no contact or communication between you. My dear brothers and sisters, such feelings can leave your heart unsettled, your mind restless, and your soul confused. But remember, the heart of a believer is never left without guidance. Allah, in His mercy, has blessed us with the greatest gift, the power of dua. When your heart feels heavy or uncertain, raise your hands and speak to the one who already knows every secret within your chest. If that person is written for you, Allah will open the path with ease. And if they are not, Allah will remove them from your heart gently, replacing the pain with peace. Don't let your thoughts become a prison. Instead, seek clarity through Istikhārah and trust in Allah's perfect plan. Keep your heart alive with dhikr, for true tranquility is not found in chasing people. It's found in surrendering to the wisdom of Allah. Don't lose hope. Don't overthink. Place your heart in the care of the one who holds every heart in His control. The beauty of human connection, one of the most profound realities of human life, is our ability to form deep emotional bonds with others. These connections often go beyond words, time, and even physical presence. You might find yourself constantly thinking of someone, not by chance, but as a reflection of how powerfully hearts and souls can connect beyond what the eyes can see. Allah created us as social beings who thrive on companionship. In the Quran, Allah reminds us of this design, and we created you in pairs. Surah An-Naba 78:8. This verse beautifully captures our innate need for connection. When we love, share experiences, or build trust, our hearts naturally become attached. Even when communication stops, emotional bonds linger, kept alive through memories, hopes, and silent care. Why someone stays in your thoughts when someone remains in your mind? It may carry different meanings. Love and affection, genuine love, whether for a spouse, friend, or family member, creates an invisible thread. The heart remembers whom it loves, even without reminders. Care and concern. Thoughts of someone may stem from worry or compassion. When you truly care for another's well-being, your heart keeps them close, even unconsciously. Shared energy. Emotional bonds are like spiritual ties. The deeper they run, the harder they are to sever. Unresolved feelings. When words remain unspoken or situations unresolved, the mind tends to revisit those emotional connections, seeking closure. An Islamic perspective on bonds of the heart, Islam, recognizes that emotional connections are powerful. They can bring comfort, but they can also be a test. The Prophet said, "Souls are like conscripted soldiers. Those that recognize one another will be united, and those that do not will be divided." Sahih Muslim. This hadith reminds us that some relationships are not just of this world. They are soul-level connections decreed by Allah. So when your heart clings to someone, don't despair. Turn that attachment into a means of drawing closer to Allah. Ask Him to guide your heart toward what is best, to keep what is meant for you, and to release what is not, always with peace. Hearts are drawn to one another only by Allah's will. If someone continues to cross your mind, it may be because your souls are connected in a way that transcends worldly understanding. Managing emotional bonds. With wisdom, emotional connections are a natural part of being human. Yet Islam teaches us balance, to let our emotions exist, but never let them overpower our peace or distract us from our worship. When someone stays in your thoughts, don't let it consume your heart. Instead, turn that energy into dua. Ask Allah to guide the relationship, to protect your heart, and to grant clarity. If the bond is good for your faith and future, Allah will make it easy and blessed. If not, He will gently remove the attachment and replace it with something far better. When handled with wisdom, emotional bonds can become a means of spiritual growth rather than distraction. The power of emotional bonds. When someone lingers in your heart without communication, it often reflects love, care, or destiny beyond your control. Islam does not ask us to deny these feelings, but to redirect them, to acknowledge them, place them in Allah's hands, and seek His guidance. In this way, the connections of the heart become not mere attachments, but stepping stones toward maturity, patience, and closeness to Allah. When thoughts keep returning, If someone repeatedly appears in your thoughts without any contact, it may signal the presence of unresolved emotions, love, regret, longing, or even unspoken pain. The human heart tends to hold on to what was never concluded. Islam, in its deep wisdom, teaches that such emotions are not random. They are reminders, signs that invite reflection, purification of intention, and renewed trust in Allah's plan. Why unresolved feelings linger? The heart remembers what the tongue never said and what life never resolved. Some reasons these emotions remain include unspoken words. You may have wanted to express gratitude, apology, or affection, but never found the right moment. The heart replays these scenes, leaving an emotional echo. Unfinished relationships, friendships, family ties, or deeper connections that ended abruptly often leave behind a longing for closure, regret, or guilt. When we wrong someone or feel we've been unfair, our conscience holds on to that pain, keeping their memory alive. Hope and longing. Sometimes, the mind clings to what it desired but could not attain, creating a cycle of reflection and yearning. The Islamic lens on unresolved emotions. Islam recognizes the heart's vulnerability and its capacity to attach deeply, but it also gives us a framework for healing. The Prophet taught the virtue of forgiveness, both for others and for ourselves, because holding on to emotional burdens prevents the heart from finding peace. Allah reminds us in the Quran, "So pardon them and overlook their misdeeds. Indeed, Allah loves those who do good." Quran 5:13. True peace begins when you release what weighs on your heart. Trust Allah's wisdom and believe that every connection, whether it stays or fades, serves a divine purpose. Allah tells us in Surah Al-Ma'idah 5:13, "So pardon them and overlook their misdeeds. Indeed, Allah loves those who do good." This verse reminds us that letting go, whether through forgiving or seeking forgiveness, frees the heart from the weight of unresolved burdens. The spiritual impact of holding on. When unresolved emotions linger, they can quietly drain the soul. They distract the believer, disturb sleep, and weaken concentration in worship. These lingering feelings act like whispers from the past, pulling our focus away from the present moment. For some, they create sadness. For others, they plant false hope. But in both cases, the heart remains unsettled until clarity or closure is found. How to heal and move forward. Turn to dua. Ask Allah to reunite hearts if the connection is good, or to remove attachment if it harms your faith. Seek forgiveness. If guilt is the cause, make sincere istighfar, and if possible, apologize to the person involved. Forgive and release. If you were wronged, choose forgiveness for your own peace. Holding grudges only keeps the wound open. Redirect energy. Channel your emotions into worship, Quran recitation, and acts of kindness. The heart heals best when it is occupied with Allah. When someone constantly lingers in your mind, it may be less about them and more about the emotions within you that need closure. Islam teaches that peace is not found in clinging to the past, but in releasing it into Allah's care. Through forgiveness, seeking forgiveness, and making dua. Unresolved feelings, when handled wisely, can transform into valuable lessons that strengthen the soul instead of weakening it. Spiritual connections and the reality of Qadr, destiny. Sometimes when a person repeatedly crosses your mind without any direct contact, it may go beyond simple memory or emotion. It could be tied to a spiritual connection and the divine reality of Qadr, destiny. In Islam, nothing happens without the will of Allah. Even the people who enter our lives, linger in our thoughts, or leave lasting impressions are part of His divine plan. Recognizing this truth helps us see that these moments are not coincidences, but purposeful signs filled with wisdom. Allah tells us in Surah Al-Qamar 54:49, "Indeed, all things we created with predestination." This verse reminds us that every detail of our lives, from major events to passing encounters, unfolds according to Allah's decree. If someone often returns to your thoughts, it may be Allah's way of reminding you of their place in your destiny. As a blessing, a test, or a lesson. Some connections are temporary, meant to teach us and then fade away. Others are lasting, leaving permanent imprints on our hearts. Even if communication ends, Qadr may allow their presence to remain in your thoughts, shaping your perspective and guiding your spiritual growth. The connection between souls. The Prophet beautifully explained this phenomenon, saying, "Souls are like conscripted soldiers. Those that recognize one another will be united, and those that do not will be divided." Sahih Muslim. This hadith reveals that some souls are naturally drawn to each other because Allah has written their bond long before this world existed. These spiritual ties often reveal themselves through constant thoughts, a sense of familiarity, or an unexplainable comfort when remembering someone. Such bonds are not limited to romance. They can exist between friends, family members, mentors, or anyone whose presence has touched your soul and influenced your faith. When a person repeatedly crosses your mind, it may reflect a deeper, soul-level connection, one designed by Allah for a purpose greater than what you can see. When thoughts reflect destiny, it's important to remember that being reminded of someone does not always mean you are destined to be with them. Sometimes it is a test, a lesson in patience, self-control, or trust in Allah's timing. At other times, it may be a sign of guidance, Allah placing that person in your thoughts so that you make dua for them, forgive them, or seek reconciliation. In every case, such reminders are never random. They are woven into your Qadr, your divine destiny, to shape your heart, strengthen your faith, and guide your actions toward Allah's will. How to handle such thoughts Islamically: make dua. Ask Allah for clarity. If the connection is good for your faith and life, He will open the way. If not, He will remove the attachment with gentleness. Trust in Qadr. Remember, your destiny is always written in your favor, even when you cannot yet see the wisdom behind it. Stay balanced. Don't let thoughts of someone consume you. True spiritual connections should bring you closer to Allah, not distract you from Him. Seek guidance in Istikhārah. When uncertain, pray and ask Allah to guide your heart toward what benefits your deen and dunya. When someone frequently lives in your thoughts, it may be a reflection of a spiritual bond and Allah's Qadr at work. Islam teaches us not to resist or overthink these moments, but to accept them with trust and peace. Every heart that crosses your path does so for a divine reason, either as a blessing, a lesson, or a test. By entrusting these matters to Allah, you allow your destiny to unfold with serenity, knowing that He is the best of planners. Turning thoughts into dua. When someone remains in your thoughts without communication, it can bring confusion, longing, or restlessness. In such moments, the believer turns to the most powerful tool Allah has given: dua. Alongside supplication, Islam encourages seeking clarity so that the heart does not remain lost in uncertainty. Together, dua and reflection form the path to peace and guidance. Dua is more than a request. It is a direct, intimate conversation with Allah. The Prophet described dua as the essence of worship. When someone is constantly in your thoughts, let dua transform those emotions into a spiritual act. Instead of being consumed by overthinking, present your feelings to Allah, the one who knows what is hidden in your chest and what is best for your future. Allah says in the Quran, "And when my servants ask you concerning me, indeed, I am near. I respond to the supplication of the caller when he calls upon me." Surah Al-Baqarah. This verse is a powerful reassurance that no thought, emotion, or worry is too small for Allah. If the person you keep thinking of is truly meant for you, your dua will be the means through which Allah opens that door. And if not, He will grant you peace in letting go. If that person is not meant for you, then dua will be the key to letting go peacefully. Clarity through Istikhārah. Islam does not encourage remaining stuck in confusion or uncertainty. The Prophet taught us the beautiful prayer of Salat al-Istikhārah, a prayer for guidance in times of doubt. Through Istikhārah, you are asking Allah to lead you toward what is good for your dun, dunya and akhirah, and to keep you away from what could harm you. This act brings clarity and calm because it shifts the burden from your limited understanding to Allah's infinite wisdom. Instead of endlessly wondering why someone is on your mind, you entrust the matter to the one who already knows the outcome, avoiding overthinking. Sometimes, Shaitan uses lingering thoughts to pull a believer into obsession, false hope, or distraction from worship. This is why dua and clarity are essential. They protect the heart from wandering into unhealthy attachment. By making constant istighfar, seeking forgiveness, and dhikr, remembrance of Allah, the believer keeps their heart anchored in peace rather than drowning in confusion. Practical steps for peace of heart: raise your hands in dua. Ask Allah sincerely. If the connection is good, unite us. If it is harmful, remove it gently from my heart. Pray for guidance. Let Allah guide your emotions rather than forcing your own desires. Increase in dhikr. Keep your heart busy with remembrance so idle thoughts do not take control. Trust Allah's timing. If something is written in your Qadr, it will unfold at the right time without your struggle or worry. The role of dua and clarity. In these situations, dua turns uncertainty into worship, while clarity through Istikhārah and trust in Allah keeps the heart steady. Instead of becoming enslaved by constant thoughts of someone, Islam teaches us to rise above them, to surrender to Allah's will with patience and peace. In doing so, the believer gains strength, serenity, and trust, knowing that Allah never withholds what is truly good and never burdens a heart without purpose.